Hello, Internet. I'm Matt Haas. This is Awesome Wood Things. This is a re upload of the Hangout I had. There was a technical issue, so I went back to the beginning and run through the first few slides pretty quickly, but nothing's left out. You'll also hear and see Al Forte from Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. He's here with me as well, helping keep the show on track. Enjoy. Okay. Dan's recommending I start from the top. TJ's here. Hi, TJ. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just run through the slides quick, and we'll kind of get back to where we were. So this is all about logos. These are the goals of your logo. So you can see you want them to be simple, memorable, timeless. Timeless. Look at this. Pepsi and Coca-Cola in 1885. And then look at today. How many iterations? That's not timeless, Pepsi. So Coca-Cola nailed it. Should be versatile and appropriate. Toys R Us. Look, the R's backwards. Get it? Toys, kids. Yeah. That's the goals. 7 different kinds into these 3 categories. Okay. First category has 2. First one's letter marks. These are acronyms. International Business Machines. Home Box Office. Get that. National Aeronautical Space Association or Administration. Word marks. Obviously, you take a word and you make it look awesome and memorable and timeless. Okay. And then here's what you don't do for words is you don't pick the wrong font. So a law firm you want to be hard-hitting, tough as nails is a scripty pink font. Does that reflect a hard-hitting law firm? No. So the font choice, you got to nail it. I'm just going fast because we had technical issues with this. Pictures, symbols, the pictorial logo marks. They got to be what you're looking at. So this looks like a window. This looks like a tweet. This looks like a target. So not surprisingly, this is Windows, Twitter, and Target. And Comic Sans. I will not rail on Comic Sans again. If you use Comic Sans in a logo, hang your head in shame. Abstract marks can take something that isn't really anything, but the fact that it's a logo and the fact that you're in business long enough, it will become something. So Adidas has 3 stripes. So they've incorporated, or has stripes on their sneakers. They've incorporated that into their logo. And what are these 3 things? Who knows? But you know it's Adidas. Okay, TJ's got to jump off. Thanks, brother. See you on the flip side. Pictures and symbols, mascots. Mascots are super fun. People have a lot of brand loyalty, especially to companies that use mascots. They're hard to do, but if you can nail it, you can really reap the benefits. Combinations. This is the most common type of logo. So words and graphics combined. Everything is very well thought out. The burger and the word king, they look like hamburger patties in between hamburger buns. And look at that. Crush is just self-explanatory. Good stuff there. Emblem marks. Emblem marks. Harneo Media. Hi, Steve. Welcome. We're just ending the 7 different types of logos. Don't worry. We're getting into the good stuff now. Rock Inspire Rockstar Gamer. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Just ending our view of 7 different types of logos, and now we're going to get into the do's and the don'ts. So yeah, these are good. Easily recognizable, beloved. They can, it can be an institution, or those are good for emblem marks. All right. So now let's talk about the do's and the don'ts. So this is just going to be a mix of tips. So here's the good stuff. No pixels. You don't want any pixels in your logo, except if you're Awesome Wood Things. Then you're allowed to have pixels. So, I really went against the grain with this one. And you really should not have pixels in your logo. But here's why I did it. One, I knew my company was going to be media focused. So online, on the computer. That's more forgiving when you have pixels. Now, I do have a shirt and, I have some merch, but the logo holds up if you strip away the wood background. And since I'm not printing, with ink on paper, I don't need the CMYK ink, so I don't need to pay for 4 different kinds of ink. And even the shirt that I did do, I used this light wood color just as a solid ink, and that was printed with 4 colors CMYK. But shirts now, the choice, the pricing for 1 color versus 4 is practically the same. So I knew my position as a business owner would be just fine online only. So I bit the bullet and went against conventional wisdom and used pixels in my thing. Now, look at the pixels I did use, okay? It's not critical. It just needs to represent wood. So if this is scaled down and you've got fewer pixels, it still looks like wood. So it's not a critical graphic element. The only thing critical about it is it needed to look like wood. And I'll tell you, I have this sticker on the back of my cell phone, and if I'm talking on the phone or if I'm using it, I'll get people coming up to me, or like say a group of friends and friends of friends that are with me, and they're like, "So Matt, what's that?" Well, that's my company, and they'll instantly say, "So like you make things out of wood that are awesome?" And I'm like, "You got it. You got it." Like I didn't have to say a thing. They just had to look at the logo. I didn't have to speak anything. I didn't have to provide any text to them so they could read any words. They instantly knew what this is all about. And that, in my opinion, makes a good logo.
So, Matt, do you have a DBA filed in the state of Texas as Awesome Wood Things?
Uh,
I might
I
just
don't
do that.
have a DBA doing business as. I've yeah, but who knows what legal status I'll have going forward. But I chose to use this raster based or pixel based, pixel and raster is the same thing, on my logo. And I tell you what, it's been fine, and it has really made me stand out because you don't have logos with rasters. This is the last one with my logo, so if you're freaking out, we get to see other logos. But it must look good, both small and with various shapes. So here's my small logo, and you can read it. And I really was struggling with the number of letters, and I did think that this was small enough that you could read it if it's super, super tiny. So I was happy with that. But some platforms, they make it be circles. So I didn't want any critical elements outside that circle. And if you look at my comments on YouTube, you can read the word awesome. Even if it's very, very small, it doesn't chop off the letter forms. Even if you can't read the letters, which I think you can read them, but even if you couldn't read them, you can tell that they're not cut off small when it's a circle. So that's a must.
Jeff Robinson's is saying, see, he's following my path.
So I can make awesome wood things.
Some awesome wood things too. That's my point, Jeff.
And then this is just a generic piece of advice. Keep it clean, don't junk it up. So you can see, some of these have a little bit more going on than others, but they're clean. And that's important. They look good small, and they're not crammed with material. I'm changing my channel to Awesome Wood Stuff. Oh, yeah, I have a slide about that. don't make the mistake I did. Harneal Media. I don't. Well, what was the mistake you made, Steve? Okay, here's just some fun facts. All right. These are the most aggressive at defending their copyright marks. And I mean it. Do not, under any circumstances, first of all, you don't want to copy someone else's mark or logo. You just don't want to do, you want to build up yourself as something unique. But should you decide to cross paths with these three companies, you will not have a good time. So let me show you something here. All right. Major League Baseball. I worked for Major League Baseball. There's a publisher who had the licensing. She actually had the licensing to Major League Baseball, and she had the activity book license. They only give one activity book license to one vendor worldwide. So only one person can make activity books. She bought it. She paid 20 grand a year, and she paid 5,000 per publication. And that's what you need to do to legally use artwork from Major League Baseball. They are so strict, Major League Baseball, they had lawsuits for people publishing statistics about the game. So this player has this batting average. They tried to make the case that that was their part. Now they lost, but just the mindset that they go after you instant. There's no wait time. These lawyers will hammer you. Walt Disney, they are very protective of their intellectual property. There's cases, I don't know if it's urban legend, where they laser off tattoos of their characters if people cross that. And that's I don't know if that's true or not. And then this one, the United States Marine Corps. This is the only governing body, not even military body, but this only government entity that has a full-blown copyright. I'm sorry, trademark. So it's not copyright, it's not reserved, it's not restricted. It's full-on trademark. This symbol is full-on trademarked, and they go after anyone who has anything similar. So look at this. So like you would not want to do this. Like that's if you had your company and that was your logo, drinking beer like the major, no. Any of the sports teams don't even get anywhere close to it. They'll be all over you. I don't have any examples for Disney. Like here's one. High school. Look at the high school mascot. It's identical to the Dodge Ram. Why? Why would you do that? That's just confusion. That's not going to make Lake Mary High School any better. I'll tell you that much. And here's someone from our community, Mike Jeffcoat, who I love, great guy, stand-up guy. He loves the military as much as I do, full supporter. But look at his logo. Can you see this? United States Marine Corps. Look, he took the globe out and made it the circular saw. And I guess the eagle doesn't have a little banner. Imagine if that was your logo and your YouTube company started to get big. Do you know what world of hurt you would be in? So don't give yourself future headaches by doing this. It's just a sleazy thing to do, one, and you're not doing yourself any favors. So don't do that. But here's one I love. Run DMC and run CNC. So I put this under a good copy example. One, I mean, who knows what the band is doing? And they've long broke up, and I think they're pretty easygoing guys. And I don't know. And if someone didn't know what Run DMC was, this still works. Run CNC. You had a CNC machine and you run it. So even if they weren't children of the 80s and the early rap scene, that one still works. So I do like that one. Did you see what that was? Hopefully you saw that. I only flashed it on screen purposely. You probably couldn't read what it was, but you know what that was.
I'm kind of hungry for donuts right now.
It needs to be recognized. This is the most important thing. Most people say it needs to be readable. Not even that. I mean, yes, it would be good if it's readable, but you can have a successful logo, have it not be readable, but it must be recognizable. When I was in design college, the professor had a Dunkin' Donuts sign, and he just went whoosh, like real fast, like this. Like it was all in. He didn't even. It wasn't even stationary, and everyone knew what that was. And that's the takeaway. It needs to be. I gained 2 pounds a little bit. Someone's saying in the chat room when they saw it. Yeah, so recognizable. The most important thing that you can do is make it recognizable. Now here's the best logo on the planet. And this isn't just me saying this. This is universally believed to be the best logo. Not this one. Do you know what it is? It's not Dunkin' Donuts. Take a guess at what the best logo on the planet is.
I want to say IBM.
Okay. We have one for IBM.
My
The
guess.
best logo above all else in all industries, the best logo ever. Chat room, any guesses? Nike. We have a Nike. Okay. Anyone? And Coke. Okay. Coke. Good. 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 Couple for Coke. Hooters.
Hooters.
McDonald's. Coke. These are all premium logos. Here's what not only me, but what design professionals universally agree, mostly agree. Well, darn near all agree. Get the screen flipped over here. All right, here it is. Are you ready? FedEx. This is in the design books. Mickey Mouse. No, close. Yeah. All spectacular suggestions. They're all suggestions. FedEx is universally agreed to be the best logo ever. And it's because of this feature right here. Can you see the white right pointing arrow? As if they're moving packages in linearly in one direction from left to right. Yeah, FedEx. And these letters, hidden arrow. That's right. This is not any one particular typeface. I think they've built this typeface. And yeah. And then just it's 2 colors. Now they do touch. That's a bit of a pain for reproducibility sometimes, is when 2 different colors touch each other like that. But it's only, in a straight line, and it's just mind blown. Yeah, right. Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashir's. Yes, it's got that arrow pointing, and it's absolutely deliberate, and it's absolutely brilliant. Now, is it the best? I mean, this is design. Everything's subjective, but this is a step above for sure. For sure. I cannot unsee that now. Empty Lab says, yes, I know. Isn't it crazy? It is crazy. All right. We've got more, folks. Isn't this cool? This is a lot of good information. I had so much fun putting this together. Okay. Now, the most expensive logo. What's the most expensive? Not expensive to have it designed, but expensive to have it in use. The most expensive logo to own as a company and put on everything and print and manufacture and put it online. And the most expensive logo, not to design, but to actually have, is Apple. Did anyone get it? Chanel, NFL. Good guesses. Good guesses. Apple. Apple's logo is the most expensive because of the 6 colors, right? Okay, so at minimum, anything printing, they needed to go 4 color: cyan, magenta, yellow, black. On the actual hardware, they needed 6 custom colors. The actual emblem on a computer, it needed to have green ink, yellow ink, black, orange, blue, purple, and blue. It was just a nightmare. It just sucked money out of the company. Not like they don't have money to burn now, but that was bold. And then black, like you would need black too. Like if you ever did anything with custom colors, if they had a high-end brochure and they didn't want to use cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and they would need 7 colors, 7 times on the press, black, and then all of these 6 colors. So
Yeah, and highly registered colors like that, when you're printing, when you're offset printing, to say the least, that is, you have to have good presses to be able to come back 7 times.
exactly. You couldn't pay for the cheapo color printing. You had to pay for the primo color printing. So they've they paid for for sure. Not that you need to pity that company by any stretch. So this is the thing about logos, is it's very touchy, but where this is a design lesson. So you kind of have to kind of separate yourself from some of the baggage that may or may not come with some of these companies, because we're learning about design principles here, and we can learn from companies we love, and we can learn from companies we kind of don't like too much. All right, color. Pantone colors. Yeah, baby. PMS system, Pantone matching system. So let's talk about color. 2 concepts here. Well, there's actually more than 2 concepts. We'll start over here. And this has to do with platforms. Okay, so if you're on the YouTube platform, well, what color is the YouTube platform? It's red, it's black, and it's white. Okay, so these are the interface colors of that one platform. So you need to ask yourself, like, what colors do I want my company to have? Or what colors do I want to use for the stuff I publish on that one platform? Should they be identical to the platform colors itself? If so, you're already competing, not with your competitors, but with the interface itself. So it might be a good idea to not have the same 3 colors represented in the assets you publish, if your business is on one platform primarily, like many of us YouTubers are woodworkers on YouTube or makers on YouTube. So, think about the platform. And if you're primarily on one platform, you might want to use the knowledge here to do something different. Okay. And then, now this isn't a color theory class, but there's all kinds of stuff online that talk about what colors are pleasing and what colors are not. So this is just saying, well, you can do a complementary color scheme and pick colors that are opposite on the color wheel, and or do the triad. They're equally spaced on the color wheel, analogous. These all are pleasing to the eye. Split complement. All right. 4 square. What 4 that are rectangular. And then what I tried to do here, like this is what I've been experimenting with. I want to build a company around Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator's orange. So I looked at the color wheel and I picked something like this, because I had green over here and I had this pink and orange. So mine was the split complementary with sort of not quite magenta, but it was, anyway, it was deliberate. It was, and these 3 colors work well together. At least that's what I'm kicking around from my Learn Adobe Now company. So just jump online and go to some of these color tools that they have, and think about what might be pleasing, and then use that. Don't just kind of slap stuff together yourself. That cannot not work. Now this is kind of hokey, and I I was hesitant to even put this on, but this is like what color means. So red and orange are bold, and pink is feminine, and I don't know. I don't know if I really buy any of this. So freeze frame, take a picture, and kind of read this if you want. But I just thought I'd put it in there. Now, here's an awesome Wood Things tip. Okay, color space. All right. Colors from a camera will only go so far. And then if you have colors like this, and this is a dialog box from Photoshop. See this little alert symbol here? This is danger, danger. What it's telling you is this color cannot be reproduced in the CMYK color space. So it only can exist on the computer, and it's warning you. But my friends, it's not a warning. This is actually a blessing. If you take advantage of this, you will have one more step up with your competition. And here's why. Okay. Since YouTubers particularly are an primary online type of thing, we can take advantage of that. So if you have a color so any thumbnail that was taken with a camera won't have that color. Okay, because cameras only pick up what they can see, and so you can capitalize on this. And YouTube just did it. YouTube did it with where's my YouTube slide? This color, it's jacked up, full on red. Like they didn't even try and hide it. It's 255.00. It's full on max, and it glows. It literally glows. That's why you can't represent that in print, because print doesn't glow. Print is a reflective, not a. And then so here's the same color. I don't know if this is coming through on the Hangout, but this is duller on the right than it is here, because this is not that same. This is really only using the CMYK equivalent. Now let's see this in real time. So here's a YouTube interface. Which one of those stuck out? The comments, the little tiny icons. Does anyone jump out at you more than the others? I'm flicking this on and off on purpose here.
I want to say the heart.
Let me go down here. Jocko's. This color is not a color you can represent on the camera. He used a color that was, one, not typical of the YouTube interface. So it's not red, it's not white, and it's not black. Well, it does have some black in it, but that pops out because two reasons. It's a non-standard color, and it's in a color space that glows. So when you're in your editing software, you get one of these warnings saying it can't be represented in print. Very, very smart. So anytime that there's a sea of comments, the green one shines out like a beacon. And this is what logos are all about. Your logo, and particularly your channel icon, is everywhere on your content. It should even be places where you can put it, but just by default, it's everywhere. And I'll give you some tips to actually put it in more places. But and you need every incremental improvement you can. No one little tiny nudge improvement is going to be a make or break business decision, but they all kind of add up. And this is a competition out there. You're competing for eyeballs, and yes, your content has to be good, but every little thing that you can do to make it a little bit more appealing, you should do. And having a color space in one of those vibrating, can't reproduce in CMYK, that's one little nudge forward for you, one plus for you as a creator and someone who's competing for eyeballs.
You got a question out there, Matt?
Sure.
What do you know if there is a Kodak test card for some color that you can use to calibrate your SLR camera with? Matt, do you know?
Ah, yeah. Well, I know there are um, hardware solutions. So they'll put a little suction cup monitor you can put on your not suction cup camera that you can stick onto your monitor, and then with the software they give you in conjunction with that piece of hardware, and it can tell you um, how to calibrate. It'll auto calibrate your monitor for you. But you know that's a tough thing to do. And it's specialized as well because your environment can change. Your brightness could go down and on your monitor. There's some things that you could do. It's usually for printing because you want the computer screen to represent what it looks like printed. And that's just a failing case right off the bat because computers glow and printed material reflects. So it's two different spaces. Um, Dan says there are full blown calibration systems out there. I have done it for some photographers in the past. Yeah, I do not know too much more beyond that, other than you can purchase this specialized hardware that comes with software that does what you're asking. I've never done it. I've been in desktop publishing my entire career, 3 decades, and I never needed to do that. All right, we're coming up on the last slide, and this is more of what not to do. So your logo will look amateurish if you dun, 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 try and save money on your logo. Now, of course, a lot of people are design heavy here, so we can make our own. But if you go to cheapen up, if you cheap it up too much and use a friend or a relative, you know, that's not good. Or you use the wrong person. A lot of times you have a print job. The printer has a design house. You know, yes, they might be fantastic, but come on, like, no. Most of the time, no. And then I know our friends like Sarah out there from More Tooth Designs will appreciate this one. Your logo will look amateurish if use an online company that offers cheap logos. Who's that? Fiverr. People hate this company. Yeah, you use has a lot of amateurs, and if you pay $5 for a logo, you're going to get $5. There are some good artists on there, but it's mostly worth. It's mostly not going there for that type of work. Don't use stock artwork. I mean, come on. Really, it it it'll show. It'll show. And then don't go overly complex. Look at this. That's too much detail, folks. You're going to shrink this down. It's just going to look like a gray oval, if that. So that's too much detail. Don't do that. Color. Now this is the color. Does that have important meaning of the shapes? So look what happens when you go gray. This just turns into this unwelcomed. Like if you really needed to have two circles and that meant something for what you were doing, not a good choice. Here, on the other hand, they're separated by white, and at least this looks like types, two rings, albeit broken for some reason. I don't know, but it's broken. So like that's what you want, and then so don't use color as the distinguishing factor. Don't use too many fonts. So here we've got, font 1, font 2, font 3, font 1, or I call them typefaces. I'm a classically trained designer. They're called typefaces. I was in a corporate meeting and someone said, "Do you have a design degree, Matt?" I was like, "Yes." He goes, "I can tell because you use the word typefaces where most people use fonts." And they are fonts, but fonts are a computer type thing. They're typefaces. Anyway, really, are you really presenting value by having a serif, sans serif, script, and handwriting? I mean, really? Looks much better just with one. And then the biggest mistake is you copies. The mistake is you copy others. Don't copy others. Don't do it for the many reasons. I mean, it's the biggest mistake. I mean, you don't want to confuse. Yeah, you think, oh, there's a great logo. I'm going to copy it. No, the people that come to you because you've got this great logo that looks very similar are going to get to you and realize you're not that thing, and they're going to be upset. Just don't do that. Comic Sans Serif for the wins. These Sans Comic Sans, don't do it. Don't tell me that Comic Sans stuff. There's stickers you can buy to put on posters on the street that say I don't use Comic Sans. It's just so overly used. So there we go, folks. Full circle. Let's bring it back. Simple, memorable, timeless, versatile. I know I'm not sharing. And appropriate. That's the goals of what your logo should speak to. And you got to you don't want 4 of those 5. You don't want 2 of the. You want all 5 of the 5. And see, someone asked me, because here's the reason. The reason why I have this subject on this Hangout is because I met someone in the community, another YouTuber. Now, what's your rate, Matt? No, I don't offer logos, so don't look to me for that. I did, but I don't do that anymore. Not often anymore. I don't know. But someone said to me, they were like, "So Matt, like, I'm following your Illustrator stuff, and it's clear that you're an expert and you love the platform, and I love the look of line art. I'm a very line art design. I mean, I just like that type of style." And it's like, why don't you have any symbols that are line art in your logo? Like, where's the plane, and where's the saw blade? He's like, you're so good at it, you should have this stuff in it. And I'm like, no, my friend. This is what I was after. Remember my example where a friend of a friend came up to me and said, "Oh, so you make stuff out of wood? That's awesome." Like, there was no barrier. That's what I was after. And I was happy with it. And I also wanted a typeface I could use with a manual router, or I could make it myself. So I picked a typeface. This is the actual what do they call it, Al? The like the dot matrix, not the dot matrix, but like the old style computer font.
Yeah.
So it was that font. Yeah, on top of
Terminal. No, I actually used Terminal the other day for a cut, and thought it was going to be, what is it?
Well, whatever it is, each letter is the same. So it's like Arial, not Arial. It's like Courier. You know how Courier is a mono spaced font. So it's definitely one like that. And in the early days of printers, it like that was one of the choices. Maybe even like those typewriters
where the spaces are evenly set.
Yeah. And so it's very, very old school. But since my channel was all sci-fi and modern and pop culture, like, I thought it was a good juxtaposition, and it was something I could do on a router, like if I had to route that out. So I put a lot of thought, but it's just funny how the thought was, Matt, your logo is absent all of these nice little bits of line art graphics. It was almost like he was coming at it like, it's like you failed on your logo. And I'm thinking, brother, I did not fail on that logo. I nailed that logo. But I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. So, hopefully the takeaway is you know, some of these principles you can apply yourself or ask someone, or hire someone with these principles in mind. And you'll realize that no, not every woodworking and making has to have a saw blade on it or a hand plane, or not that those are bad. And I actually like a lot of them. But, if you looked at the maker community logos against this slide deck, like you might see a lot of busy stuff going on. And, busy doesn't work well small. There is one YouTuber that has a shield logo and then the word channel on the bottom. Like that's on his sticker. It's like, it's got stuff going on. It's got the word channel, and that channel on the bottom, like it will get cut off on the circle because it had important stuff at the very bottom left and the very bottom right, and it doesn't work well with the circle. So little things like that. There's a lot of improvements that can be made. And then, some people just have their face. I mean, look at my friend Carl Jacobson. His logo channel's just his face, and that is pixels. It doesn't have any color space that's punched up real bright because it was from a camera. So, but if you work at it, any logo will become recognized. The more you're in business, the more you're successful, the more your logo will become recognizable. But if you use some of these principles on the slide deck, you can get that recognizable stuff earlier in your business life than, waiting till you get to a huge audience. Then everyone knows Carl's icon, his channel icon. I mean, they know it. That's him. So, and then again, a lot of this is subjective. So, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. That's man crafting, and it does work well because he only uses the channel section. Yes, when promoting his channel. Yep. So there's no. I'm not bashing on anyone. I know I used Mike's with the Marine Corps, but I love the guy. I love his artwork. I love him as an artist. I met him. He's a great guy, but from a design point of view, that wasn't good. And Chad's logo, yeah, I love his logo, and he's using it. And put it everywhere. Logos need to be in the thumbnails. My thumbnail has the logo on it. Doesn't have to be there. I put it on. It just it's branding. And then my color space for a lot of my videos, I use that green. Now, I don't go crazy with the super vibrating green, but it's green's not on the YouTube platform, and I like that. So yeah, I have a like a green accents on mine, and that makes it punch out. It makes it stand out. So if I can catch half of a percent more, I know I'm not sharing. If I can catch 0.5% more eyeballs, that's just one more notch. Ask Duresta about putting his name on everything, says Jim Dockrell. Yeah, he does put his name on everything. That's for the people were stealing his videos, so he's like, yeah, you steal it, you put my name on it, at least he gets something out of it before he can shut it down, if he even shuts it down to begin with. Yep. So what do you guys think? This is the session on logos. I hope I've given you a lot of good principles here, and go out to the websites, use those color tools, the color wheel websites help you pick color spaces. Look at other channels, see what you like, see what you don't like, and yeah, don't make it too busy. Use colors that pop, that aren't the same as the interface, and put it everywhere. Put it in the thumbnails, put it on your marketing online. Like, I don't just take a photo of my shop and put it on Instagram. I put the logo on the photo on the shop and put it on Instagram. Put it everywhere. This was a good session. Thanks for the refresher. Oh, great. Thanks, Dan, or Stark Raving Lunatic. I like your screen name. All right, everyone, let's end it here. Thank you. Sorry for the technical details. I will try and perhaps make this into a standalone video or save this URL if you want to come back to it, because it goes to unlisted. And you can go on my Patreon and I'll have the whole back catalog of these live sessions. Al, thank you for your help. Why don't you say goodbye and tell people how they can get a hold of you on the interwebs?
You can always look me up at Kilroy79763 all over the place. Odessa Woodworking on Facebook, Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop on YouTube, Kilroy79763 on Twitch. But if you type in and search for Kilroy79763, you'll find me all over the place. Kilroy was here. What can I say?
I love it, Al. Just for fun, right?
Just for fun.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Line art rules, JPEGs drool. I'll see you next week. Take care.